Hey Brave Masters, Jena Rodriguez here. I have a question or challenge someone has shared with me, and so I've got an answer, basically. I'm just about to go get my daughter and pick her up from basketball practice, and so I wanted to jump in here and answer this question really quick. Hey Emily, nice to see you live. And so the question from Heidi is, fear is my biggest challenge. How do I kick my butt in gear and face the unknown, right? And so this is something I'm sure a lot of us have gone through, me included, where we might be at the beginning of something, or we're getting our business launched, or we're just having to step up to the next level, and fear is in the way. So I wanted to give you a couple thoughts of what to ask yourself in order to move through the fear. Fear is an illusion. It is our thoughts driving us down the fear rabbit hole, right? So number one, this is what I encourage you to look at is, one, what is the worst case scenario? What is, whatever you're actually afraid of, what is the worst thing that could possibly happen? And I'm here to tell you that most likely, those worst case scenarios don't ever happen. They just don't ever really come to fruition. And if you really look at it and go, okay, so if that really did happen, what would I do, or what would be possible? Then we start to kind of desensitize ourselves to the fear. We start to diminish the energy that surrounds the fear. Like it's just going to be too, we don't make it so involved at that point. So number one is to ask yourself, what is the worst case scenario? Hey, Serena, nice to see you. And thanks for being here live. And if you're on the replay, hit hashtag replay in the comments so I know that you have seen the video. So number two, I would also note, when have you been fearful in the past and you've overcome it, you've moved through it, and everything was fine, right? So sometimes we have to get ourselves grounded back in the evidence that even though we're fearful of something, we actually are okay and we're safe, and we really don't have anything to be afraid of other than our own chatter, right? And we're making all that up. And so for instance, 5 years ago, I was going to start speaking. I made a decision called, I need to go speak. I need to go get public speaking. And I was terrified. And I was like, I don't know what people are going to think. I'm afraid of what they're going to say. I'm afraid I'm not going to do a good job. I'm like fear. And so you want to take a look at that and really take inventory of what's going on in your mind, because that's what's getting in your way, right? Your thoughts and such. And so then I remember, I'm like, okay, all right, yes, I'm a little or a lot afraid of speaking in public. And it's kind of like, what's the worst that could happen? And then will I survive that? And what will happen, and what will I do about it? And then I looked at, what have I been afraid of before that I've overcome? And so kind of giving myself a brag list of things that I've accomplished because I faced the fear. And one of those was, number one, I had started my business and started networking for the very first time like 5 years before that. And I was scared and I was nervous, and I was standing up in front of people sharing my 60-second elevator pitch, right? That power pitch. And so I remember going through the same emotions, and yet realizing that I got over it. I was safe. I was fine. Everybody was positive and supportive. And so I just really started to see my accomplishments and not so focused on what might happen, right? Because when we go down that rabbit hole, we can dig ourselves straight into non-action, right? It becomes paralyzing. And so that's why I offer you these three things. So number one, what is the worst that could happen? Number two, take note of things that you have been afraid of in the past, and then what happened, what was the outcome, because you did it and you overcame it, and you are now in motion. So number three, take action. So I don't know if you've heard me say this before, but I'll say it again. Action annihilates fear, right? It's almost like it can't even exist in the same space, because if you're in action, then you're taking yourself out of overthinking, overanalyzing and not doing anything about it, right? And so if you got to pick up the phone call, literally just picking up the phone and making the call is the action that's going to start to annihilate the fear. You may be nervous, you may be all of those things going into the phone call, but the bottom line is once someone picks up on the other end or the voicemail or whatever, you got to say something. So you just take the action and are like, all right, I survived, right? Not too bad. The unknown is part of the question that's being asked, right, Heidi? So fear is the biggest challenge. How do I kick my butt in gear? Number one, action. Right? Just take the baby steps that you've got to take in order to annihilate that fear, because it can't coexist. And when you're facing the unknown, you're facing some of the, it's like, what's the worst if you don't know what's going to happen? Like, what is the worst about the unknown? That you're out of control, that you don't know how to respond, that you, like, what is it? Right? And so when you can really start to identify, then you can really start to reframe it, and then you can start to take action, then the fear starts to dissipate. And brave mastery is about stepping into the fear, not trying to eliminate it, meaning that like it never shows up ever again, right? I have plenty of fear moments, but a brave master does it anyway, steps into the action, right? Makes a decision, commits to the decision, even though it's scary, and then takes the action. So I would love to know your stories about what you've done to move out of fear or move through it, or what you've done lately, maybe this week, or maybe you're afraid of something in the next couple days and you've got to do something about it. And then would love to know what transpires. So I just brought up a story about speaking, right? And I just want to say this in closing, is that if you really want to get your business kind of in the right direction, I am doing the training this week, and I'll put some information in the post about it. It's a free training. And I talk about, some of the fears that I had to go through and some of the hardships I had to go through, and in order to start to really excel and grow my business. So I'm going to share that with you, and if you'd like to join me, you can register and be there in that conversation if you want to know how you can grow your business and do it in an accelerated manner. So again, it's all in the moment of taking action, just doing it anyway, and fear will start to dissipate. So let me know if this was helpful. Give me some likes and love. Share it with other people that might be beneficial. And again, if you're on the replay, hit #replay, and just so I know that you are here and present. Again, thank you so much for being here and watching live. I see you. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Kim. Hello, Heidi. Yes, I answered your question. And please let me know if that was helpful. And until next time, post your questions, and I will come back on video. I plan to really start to pump up your question and answers live on video, and so people can really take inventory for themselves. Do I have the same question going on? Do I need the same answers? And so there you go. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm going to go pick up my daughter, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the love.